I don't know about you, but I know I didn't wake up hungry this morning. And when I opened my refrigerator, I had different options to choose from. But when you talk about food shortages in America, when you talk about people that literally have nothing, that's where my guest comes in, Karianne Martus. And we're going to talk about a food pantry. We're going to talk about your leadership. We're talking about leadership as a female in a world, what obstacles you run into. We're going to talk about some good stuff. Welcome to the Working Class Podcast. My name is Chris Swanson, and my guest is one that I have known, not only just you, but your whole family. And Karianne, thank you for being here. The food pantry that I speak of is dedicated to two guys that I knew personally from Flint Police Department that died. Tell us that story and tell us about the food pantry, and then ultimately answer the question, is it real? Are people truly unable to get food in America today?
Sure. Well, first, thank you very much for having me here today. I really appreciate it. So the Martus Luna Food Pantry has been around over the course of the last decade, and it was started actually 21 years ago. Roger Chewy Luna and Ryan Martus were both Flint police officers. They were partners, and they were in an accident when they were hunting that had to do with some carbon monoxide poisoning.
Right.
And
a
so,
buddy heater in a tent.
Yep. So super, super sad. And they were, about the same age as my husband and I. Actually, we're all kind of the same age. And their families, both of the families came together after they passed away, and they started a memorial association. And they did some activities over the years. They had a great golf outing for the years, and they raised scholarships for children of police officers in law enforcement, which was really great. And then that sort of morphed into developing the food pantry.
Yeah.
And over that course of time, Mr. Martus, Al Martus, which would be Ryan's dad, he passed away. He was a longtime administrator at Goodrich. So whenever people hear my name, they're always like, "Are you related to Al Martus?" And then my father-in-law also was an athletic director at Hamady High School in Flint. So it's always like one or the other, and they were great friends and cousins. So really, he had passed away, and the Luna family, who is from Flint.
That's right. East Side Pride.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They are just one of the most amazing families that I've ever known. And so they decided to kind of shift this to the food pantry, seeing a need. And especially they're sort of on the sort of southeast side of Flint. And there really wasn't another food pantry kind of on south side. So they've been able to get a building, and they're able to do some interesting things in the last couple of years, which I'm really proud of, that our little wing of the family got involved.
Yeah.
And it happened because my son, Jasper, is a state representative. So he is very good friends with Dylan Luna, who is a Flint school board member, independently from, they know each other.
Right.
And Dylan invited him to come to the food pantry. This was a couple of years ago. And Jasper went, and he came home. He said, "Mom, the Lunas they're doing everything. Like, we've got to get in there." And it was kind of one of those things we just, there's a lot of arms in every family. And so you kind of think someone else is doing something, and sometimes they're not.
Right.
And just because they're not here. And so anyway, we jumped in and have been working with helping them to get this facility they have now, which is great. And the part that I think is the best about it, and we can talk more about why maybe I've had the experience of seeing different ways of it done. I think all food pantries are amazing, and they help people in need, and there's so many people in need. But what the Martus Luna Food Pantry does is, instead of just giving out boxes of food, and I don't mean just, it's not that is also great, but the concept there is that it is a shopping experience for people that are in need. So they can come in, and they're open about 4 to 6 times a month, like every other week on Tuesday and Thursday, and people can come in. It's first come, first serve, and they
you're restoring dignity to people.
Yes, and they can shop for it. You're also not giving them a bunch of things that were donated and shoved in a box that they don't use, and then it goes to waste and all that kind of stuff.
Yams and old beans.
Yeah, so this is kind of a new way of thinking
Nothing
about
against canned yams.
No, right.
But
again, it's
people
all
go to their lazy Susans. You're like, I'll just give this, and it's not normally what people want or need.
Right,
You know what I mean?
and that sometimes the stuff isn't. So that's what's really good about the way that the Lunas have sort of changed the thinking of it, which I'm very proud of, and I love how that is because it is, it is about dignity, and that is what is really important. And so they're feeding thousands of people every month, hundreds of families every month. I mean, it's just
Have you
fantastic.
seen it live?
Yes, we went and we've been several times.
Yeah.
And they also do big giveaways, during holidays. Sometimes
Yeah.
they'll have turkeys and stuff where you do the old school with the box.
Right.
But here's what I was blown away by, and I know I think there's quite a few people watching that may be UAW folks. And so UAW has been amazingly helpful with the Martus Luna Food Pantry. And so the very first time that I went to help pass out food, I was like, these people have got it down. I mean,
pat.
I've been doing event planning and running the farmers market for a long time. And I mean, it was a system. And they gave you a spot and you got in there and you better get your thing in the box
Yep.
when you're supposed to get it in the box. And
It was an assembly line.
it was a total assembly line. And I was like, this is fantastic.
Right.
I mean, it really was great.
I think it's important for people to know that the UAW started in Flint, Michigan with a sit-down strike in 1936, 37. It was birthed here. So
Right.
you talk about the UAW and what, United Auto Workers stand for across the country and in Canada is they are hardworking, working class that when there's a need, they dip out of their professional role and they serve.
They do.
I see it.
And it was cool to see. I didn't know really what to expect the first time. And then I was like, this is great. I am so impressed
Is there
with
somebody that
this.
stood out at the UAW whose name that you know?
There was
What local?
I think it was 598.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think it was 598. There was one young woman, and I don't know her name, but she was killing it, man. I was
Yeah.
just like, this is great. I love this.
Yeah.
I am an event person in my head all the time. So
Yeah.
whenever I go to things, I'm always
You
like
are hands
thinking
down
about
sanguine.
how we can
Yeah.
do this, And then I was like, I have no suggestions.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
this
among
was
my
great.
people.
I know, it was great. So, and then when they
Well,
shared,
let me ask you a question real quick. You hear people out there when they hear food pantry and they're like, why can't these people just go get a job?
Oh,
Or
my gosh.
How do they need to get food? Why can't they just go take their money that they get from Social Security or Medicaid and,
Yeah.
and then the subsidies and why do they need this? When people ask the reason why people need it, what in your perspective is the reason?
I mean, the thing that I've seen so much is I think it's hard to understand if you've never been through it or if you haven't kind of been through it side by side with someone or seen it. But the thing is, it's not that easy. There are so many barriers to people being able to build themselves back up and to be able to carry on in a way that's like, the American dream or whatever you want to talk about it. There is, there's housing, there's food, there's healthcare, there's education. There are all of these things, and you have people that are in a very distressed condition for a variety of reasons. I mean, all of us are a couple of weird occurrences away
right.
from being on the street, and I see that every day at the farmers market. And it was very, I don't know. I mean, I've realized it for a long time. I've been there 20 years, and so people, it's not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you, for example. This is a little bit off topic, but this is important.
This is
There's
perfect.
We do have some, different people that are, unhoused that are near the market and around the market. And most of them, I like to
Now
say.
we're talking about the Flint Farmers Market.
Flint Farmers Market.
Different than
yes.
the pantry.
Different
We'll
than
get
the
to that in a
pantry.
second.
Sorry.
But carry on with that story.
Yes. So, yes, I'm in my role as manager at the farmers market. So,
Amazing, by the way.
well, thank you. So, what I've found and encountered firsthand is folks that are coming down, if they're living in a shelter, they are not sleeping very much because if you fall asleep either on the street or in the shelter, your stuff gets stolen. So in there, that might be your bridge card that provides you food. It might also be your Medicaid card that provides you health care.
Yeah.
It's also your ID, whether it's a driver's license or if it's a state ID or whatever it is, it's gone. So here you are with nothing. And where do you start over? And how you try to go to Secretary of State, but you need 3 forms of identification. You have no forms of identification. How can you get a job if you don't have any identification? You don't have a place to shower. You don't have a place to eat. You don't have food to eat. Like it's
a vicious.
It's a whole cycle. It's a whole cycle, and it's just. It's really difficult. And the fact that with the food pantry and then with the farmers market, we're able to provide a, kind of a venue, a vehicle, whatever you want to say, where people can come that actually do have the opportunity to utilize benefits like that and to be able to come and to get good food for their families in a dignified manner.
So I have a question. Have you personally given somebody a meal and watched their whole life change because you took the time to give them something to eat?
I I don't know about giving them something to eat personally,
Yeah.
but I think definitely giving a lot of other services
Yes.
to help people.
Give me an example, if you have one, of somebody who felt like they were desperate and you saw the need and you're like, I can fix that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that one that sticks out in particular is a young man who is now gainfully employed. He is not living in the state of Michigan anymore, but he's in Nevada, but he's doing really, really well. But he was someone that was, sleeping outside at the farmer's market. And the vendors kind of took him under their wing and brought him up to me and said, like, I think, can you help? And it was years of process of figuring stuff out with him, but he was kind of like a firsthand opportunity to see the frustration that goes through, because it's, you can't get a job. Again, back to the whole thing. Like, if you don't, there's all these things that the rest of us have that people don't necessarily have, because if somebody takes everything that you have, where do you start? And how do you build it back? Because you have no proof of anything. You can't, you just, one feeds the other, feeds the other.
So I've talked to people about homelessness throughout the state, and, Kadaja Erickson over there in Lansing, and, Amanda that is from the Lapeer area. They're specialists in homelessness, and there's 30,000. That's just on count day. There's probably many more. 30,000 people that are homeless in the state of Michigan. And when you look at that, you ask yourself, what comes first? The mental illness, the homelessness, the criminal behavior, or the addiction? It's like it all plays into each other.
It does.
And you wonder, like, how do you solve this? And
right.
I think the answer is to solve it with the one kid that is in Nevada that's on his feet. And you just said it took years.
It took years. It took a couple tries.
It's just not a magic meal.
It's not. And you have to have patience. And you also, I think, a lot of times, you can't have an expectation that it's going to work the first time. And you also cannot, expect that people are going to react the way that you would. You kind of just have to be like, I'm going to do this because I want to help this person. And I'm not looking for something back, and I'm not expecting that it's going to work the first time I do it, but I'm going to keep at it because I want to see
know that
this
going
person.
into it.
Yeah, you do.
You can't just be like, oh, see, I tried, and
some
they didn't want it.
people are like, oh yeah, you just can't.
Right.
You can't do that. I mean, and you just have to continually keep hoping and praying that it's going to be okay. And then you just have to keep showing people that you're showing up and that you're not giving up.
Yeah. Before we transition out of the Martus Luna Food Pantry, they serve food and they give a dignified way. What else do they provide in services or experiences that help break that cycle?
Well, I think for what I observe from them is just the friendliness of a safe space and friendly faces, and people come in and I think the community starts to see them as a resource. Like, I can come in and, you know what, I can ask Sandy, like, well, okay, where should I call, or who should I talk to about this? And, despite what any of them might even be dealing with, on their own, they can come in and they sort of have a person there that cares about them. And sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it really does. Like, just a hi, how are you today?
Listen.
And that's sometimes all it takes, but everybody gets so busy and they're so worried about, how things are going to affect them or what's it going to do for them. And if they
I
just
acknowledge
miss
them,
it.
they're going to ask me for something. And if I give them something, they're going to waste it. They're going to buy drugs with it. They're going to buy alcohol with it. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the fact is that could be the one moment where, and I've said this before, where you become a seed planter and that seed actually takes.
It does.
And they remember it was that moment that changed their life and their trajectory.
Yep. And I will say that, so the young man that I was speaking of, I think it was last year at Christmas. He sent me a message on Facebook and he said, check your Venmo account because it's not much, but I want you and your husband to go out to dinner on me. And I was like, that was cool.
Are you kidding me?
How many years of, trying to help him get to where he was. And then that was unexpected. And it was just really nice.
What's his first name?
His name is Josh.
And how much did he Venmo you?
Like $50.
That's like $500 to him.
It was pretty great. Who
would have thought years before, if somebody came to you and say, hey, Karianne, I want you to know that this guy you're helping one day is going to Venmo you money when he's up on his feet. And you'd be like, I can't see that, but I'm hoping for it. And he actually did it.
He did. And it was pretty cool. So, yeah, I think, if everybody kind of had the inkling to just help
Yeah.
one person.
That's it.
You know, and it's like, why that person? I'm not sure. Like, there's all sorts of other people that I
Yeah.
see, but whatever, you know, like God puts people in your
Yeah.
way, and I take that seriously. Like,
Right.
I need to finish this.
I remember when I did a missions trip to Haiti in 2013, and that's the most oppressed country in the Western Hemisphere. And I've done multiple trips there to Haiti for human trafficking and a number of things, and then Dominican and Grenada and Honduras. And so when you go to these third world countries, I remember a story being told when you go there to just help one or two people. It's like looking at a seashore that has these starfish that roll up on the sea, and they're all trying to survive.
Right.
And a little boy's there, and he's throwing a starfish in one after another, but there's thousands.
Yeah.
And somebody came up and said, "What are you doing? You can't possibly save all these starfish." He goes, "I know, but I can save that one."
Yep. You just
And
have
that
to.
always stuck with me. And just that whole analogy, and that's what you're doing. You're finding the starfish and you're throwing it back and giving it a chance to survive.
Right. And there's so many stories at the Flint Farmers Market. Again, this is my 20th year there that
Yeah.
I've been there. And, you know, we have such a wonderful array of characters in the market that work there and that
Yeah.
shop there and that hang out there.
That's right.
And so, you know, for the story that I'm telling, I would say there are many stories like
Yeah.
that for our different vendors at the market
I
because
bet.
they are so
That
caring.
truly is a mission down there.
Oh my goodness.
Let me ask you this. How many vendors are in the Flint Farmers Market?
So we have 45 year-round vendors in
Okay.
the farmers market, and then we have about another 30 outside between spring, summer, fall that are seasonal. You
All
know,
right.
so flower.
So let's just say
people,
over
fall
100
people.
vendors.
Yeah, by the time you do
in the summer.
Yeah.
They are all small business owners. Would you
Yes.
agree?
Yes.
And they, Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays,
Saturdays,
right?
yep.
For the farmers market.
Yep.
And then when you see what they do to run their business, it's got to be inspirational of how hard these people work.
Oh my gosh,
I've
listen.
walked down the farmers market, not just Flint, but any farmers market. I'm looking at them and there's so much pride in their setup, their product. I don't care if it's soap, if it's oils, if it's vegetables, if it's a dessert that their grandmother taught them how to make. And they're just standing there as proud as can be,
Yep.
trying to hustle.
Yep. They hustle all the time.
What
Like-
I got to believe that you're inspired by that every day.
Oh my gosh. Yes. They are. It is like, they work so hard. They work so hard. And it's not just Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. That's when we're open.
Right.
But they're there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes Sunday getting ready to be open on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I mean, they are putting in so much extra work, so much extra love and care in everything that they do. And they love it. They love when people come in because that's the difference. People say, well, you can get this at the grocery store. Well, yeah, you can. But you know what? You can't find out where it was grown
Right.
or how they made it or where the
Right.
recipe came from or where they got the supplies for it. Like they're going to tell you
Yeah.
all of those things and a little bit
Yeah.
more. And it is such, I mean, I feel so blessed to have
Yeah.
landed there. There's days that it's hard. I'm not going to lie. Like it is challenging. You have 45, I'm going to focus on them because they're every day all year round, right? So they're
That's your
inside.
family.
This is them. I just came from, we're setting up for their Christmas party tomorrow night, the vendor Christmas party. So, I mean, it is family. So, you mean, families.
hold back.
They don't hold back. Like they don't.
is their lifeblood.
It is. And so it's a very delicate balance. And the way that the economy has changed, I mean, in COVID, we turned that entire market into an online shopping experience in a 72-hour period, which was insane. It was insane.
That's leadership. That's
because
you.
we had to do it.
That's leadership.
Because we want to serve the community, but you also want to 45 businesses with nothing. I mean,
Say-
there's no backdrop for
And here's
these
a perfect
folks.
example as a government official. If I came to you and said, all right, I don't know how to run a farmer's market, but I do know this. People need to eat. They
Right.
need their products. You
Right.
figured out a safe way to do it.
Yes.
And I bet if I came back in 72 hours, you would. And that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Those closest to the problem have a solution. Just ask them.
Yep, exactly.
And you
we
did it.
We did it, and it was amazing. And we were doing like 150 to 200 orders a day for the really like crunch couple months. And you know what was in there? Was those vendors were in there. They were packaging everybody's stuff up. We were sending the orders. We had an entire system. Everybody was kicking in. I mean, it was really a beautiful thing to
Yeah.
see. So they are amazing.
And you kept these businesses afloat as well.
We did. I mean, that was the thing was we don't know how long this is going to last. I
Right.
mean, what a scary situation. Like, it's still crazy when you think back
I
to
know,
like,
I
you're like,
know.
no, that's not going to,
Yeah, what do you mean, no cars on the road?
What?
I mean,
this
what?
isn't life.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, it really was something else. So that was cool. And, you know, the thing that I like to share with people, and this is true, and and I love when it happens if I happen to be standing there. But almost any time, and I know that you've heard this. I know you've heard this, and I feel like I've also heard you say it. The thing about the farmers market, going to work there every day, I don't know how many people have a workplace where they hear someone actively say, I love you to someone else in their workplace. And it's okay. Like it's okay. And I realized this probably, I don't know how long ago it's been, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I started thinking about like the number of times I hear that. And I started thinking like, this is pretty remarkable. Like
culture.
I'm listening. It is. It's a great culture. And I hear other people talking about not great culture, right?
Yeah.
Where their workplaces are whatever. And I was like, where else can you work and someone genuinely tells you that they love you every day? And like just the other day, I was right by the front door at the taco place, and somebody was leaving that the owner knew, and they were on their way out, and they're like, I love you. And I said, ding, ding, I need a little like, there was my one for today. Like every day, like I hear it all the time. And it's vendors to each other. It's vendors to their staff. It's customers to vendors. It's vendors to customers. It's staff to staff. It's everybody. And it is difficult to create that kind of environment. But it's also easy because of all the wonderful people that are in there. And they really do love each other.
Let me tell you, you can accept it or not, but it starts with you.
Well,
if you don't show a spirit of love from the top down, then it's not a culture. And that's why it's so important, whether you're, a leader, an influencer, a farmer's market, director, whatever it is, you have to set the tone of what you expect.
You do.
And if you don't do it, then don't expect something different.
That is true. My partner at the market, Sean Gartland, who runs the Flint Food Works program, which is the entrepreneurship part of the market, he's always telling me, he's like, I know you don't have a social work degree, but I feel like you have an honorary one, because half of your day is spent trying to help
fix people's problems.
But it is, and it is. Yeah. It's important because I've had the opportunity to speak at some different conventions, I guess, or conferences on farmers markets that are international and national.
Strategies.
And, and I visited a lot of farmers markets. Whenever we go anywhere, I always try to go. And I'm always like, they're beautiful and they're nice, but there's something missing. Like there is something about the Flint Farmers Market when you walk in. Yeah. I think you really feel the love.
It's not a business. I always say it's not transactional. It's transformational.
It is.
If you have a life or a business or a position where you're just transactional, it is an inch deep and a mile wide. But when you have a spirit of transformation, that's when you build those relationships. And the kid's sending you $50 from Vegas.
Right. Yeah.
That's you. I'm telling you.
Oh, well, thank you.
I have a very special business in the farmers market, the Beirut restaurant.
Yes.
Do you know why? Because the Sam Johari family?
Yes.
Do you know why? Do you remember? Do you know that story?
I'm not sure if I do.
So Sam's daughter, her mother passed away from an overdose. And then, of course, Sam's daughter, Brianna Johari, passed away. And Brianna's best friend, Erica Slosher, passed away. And they all overdosed on heroin. And it was, Fenton schools, and it just rocked the nation and rocked the worlds. And it was on Valentine's Day several years ago. Anyhow, I was able to work with Sam, and Sam's wife called 911, and that 911 tape is so bone-chilling of the desperation that Sam agreed with others, including Erica's dad, to go into the schools and preach what's called Chasing the Dragon.
Yes.
And Sam had to live that with his wife and tell that story with an 911 call.
Every single time.
And spoke to tens and tens and tens of thousands of kids.
Yep.
And I guarantee saved their lives.
Yep.
And so whenever I see Sam, I give him a big old hug, because he's got the transformational gene inside of him.
Yep.
And he's a hardworking with his wife, a hardworking guy, gives people chances. I was there just the other day, and they're like, hey, can you help with this person? He's having a hard time finding a house. I mean, we got him employed here. Like, they look out for people to try to help them.
Right.
That's just one example of vendors.
Yeah. And I've lost... I've heard Sam's wife, Anaya, more times than not. Every time I love you, Karianne.
I know it. And she's so loud too.
I know. I love it.
And they just got into another bad accident, and they're all hemmed up, and their business kept going. I mean, they have overcome so much. And every time I'm there, gives me a big old hug. And it's love.
Yep.
It's love. I'm telling you. And again, I goes back to you. Speaking of love, you love your boys.
Yes, I do.
And you have two of them.
22 and 25.
I have two boys myself, 25 and 27. And, being a boy mom, my wife, Jamie, always says, I really don't know what it'd be like if I had girls in my family.
know.
Because you're a boy mom.
Yes. And I look forward to the day when girls are added to our family.
Yeah.
And
It
I
happened to
mention
me.
that.
The
I
Swanson
mention that
6.
all the time.
Yeah. And it's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
My youngest just got married in June of this year. And as I was watching from my seat, and my boys are best friends, and they married best friends.
Nice.
It's crazy.
I like it.
And I remember looking back, and I wasn't very emotional when my first got married, but when my second got married, I'm like, this is it. Like, whatever good or bad decision Jamie and I made growing up to be parents, because there's no playbook.
Right.
This is it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a surreal moment, because it does go by that fast. And I don't know Max, but I definitely know Jasper.
Yes.
So first tell us about Max.
So yeah, Max is our younger one that people.
Max Ryan.
Max Ryan, yes. And so his name I was sharing with you, his middle name was after Ryan Martus, actually.
Yeah. Wow.
And Jasper has a middle name Ryan after Ryan Schlee, which was from the Grand Blanc area, and he passed away. He was a great soccer player. But Max he's 22, and he is currently getting his PhD at U of M Ann Arbor, and he's going to be a history professor.
Go Blue.
And he is very modest and humble, and does not like to be the center of attention, and which works out well in our
Opposite
family.
Of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
works out well. So, but he's an amazing young man, and we're very proud. And he's very passionate about the relationship between. He'll be teaching about between particularly France and the Middle East.
Oh my gosh!
So
did you see that coming up when he was as a child?
Yes.
He was consumed by history.
He loved history, and he loves languages. So
Okay.
he speaks fluent French, and he knows a lot of little bits of other languages, but he's been studying Arabic. Not as much to speak it, but so that he can read the kind of historical texts and try to understand when letters were written a long time ago, things like that. So he has a mind for language. I mean, the rest of us are just working on English, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's pretty cool. Obviously, he doesn't use French very often.
Right.
But every once in a while you run into someone, like we
And
were
he's in
visiting
his zone.
relatives, and there was someone that was visiting that area in Canada from France. And
Yeah.
so they were talking, and it was so cool to hear. It's so
Like,
cool
"That's
to
my son."
hear your kid do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty
Was he
neat.
an easy kid to raise as a mom?
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's like, yes. I said, God gives you what you can handle. He looked at me and said, I'm going to give her the 2 best boys I can find, because otherwise she's
That's
not going to make
beautiful.
it. So I'm so grateful. Yes.
And tell us about Jasper, who I know well, and I'm going to share a story about your son, Jasper.
Yes, I mean Jasper. Yeah, so he's 25. He'll be 26 here in about a month, and he has, ever since he could walk and talk, politics and history and America, and has been part of his vernacular. And I mean, he's really never strayed away from caring about that and wanting to do more and to do better for our country and the people in our country. And he just has such a huge, huge heart to try to help people. And he really believes this. And you've probably heard him say it, that, he believes the best way to do the most amount of good for the most people is by attempting to, legislate policy and do things like that. And he really, I mean, he lives and breathes it every single day, and he works so hard, and we're so proud of him.
Now he now has a 4-year term and or 2-year terms, but he can extend longer. He's been elected how many times? And how old was he when he got first elected?
So he was just
for it.
21.
Yes,
21 when he got elected. Yep, and
he's wise beyond his years.
Oh my goodness, and he put in the work. He knocked on so many doors, which, as a mom, is so stressful. Like, so hard. And I worry about him every single time that he walks out the door, because you just don't know what he's going to walk into. And people he loves to talk to people and hear their stories. And that was what was neat, was every time he would come back from knocking on however many, dozens of doors a day, he would come back and he'd have this great story about somebody that he met, and then their dog or their cat, or one day their bird, which was one of his favorites because it was a talking bird and it said his name. So he was so
great.
excited.
I'll ask him.
But yeah, he just, he's just really committed to
so
doing.
you kind of touched on this. I have a mom that, obviously in law enforcement has saw me go out the door for decades.
Yeah.
I have a wife that has, but as a mom and the political violence that you see, what do you do to cope to make sure your little boy is safe?
Oh my gosh. Pray a lot, like a lot. a lot, and just try to, really be tuned in to what he's doing and where he's going and who's he's surrounded by, and making sure that, we feel good about the environment. But, he's an adult, so
Yeah.
it's hard, but,
Yeah.
and I'm a bit of an over mom, which everyone
Yeah.
that has ever met me will tell you, like I am. But, you just have to have faith and believe that, he's got a
Do you
job
think for
to
the
do.
last 5 years, it's your concern has gotten more so
Oh my
because of the
gosh.
environment?
Yes. Wait,
What do you
yes.
tell him? What advice do you give him?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'd like to say, like, can you just make a phone call? Do you have to show up? Can you
Yeah.
just record your speech? Do you have to give it in front of 500 people, or, and so I don't know. I mean, honestly, it is really like a lot of prayer and hope and
Yeah.
faith, and just trying to, kind of be one step ahead of things, and trying to.
Yeah, it's true that political leadership at any level is a risk to your life these days.
And it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. I think people, we have a firsthand look at it, because we see him every single day. And, my husband and I both actually have degrees in political science. So this comes from us. I did a stint for, a decade. I was
That's
a
longer than a stint.
city council person
Got
in
it.
Flushing, where we live.
Yeah.
And, but it's just gotten so out of control with, things that are happening, that really it is about a job, and it is about doing a job for the people.
That's right.
And it is about getting up and going to work and learning as much as you can about as many people in your area and what they need, and then taking a look at what resources we have and how do you plug those in together. And
Yeah.
that is what the job of a politician is. But people get tied up in the campaign side of it, and they get so angry about that. But really, like, every day it's legislating. Like, you're trying to create policies and do work to help the people
Yeah.
in your community and in your state. And it just gets lost in the shuffle,
Well, I can tell you firsthand, I've talked and worked with Jasper on a number of issues, whether it's, protecting pets, or just today he sent me a text because one of his constituents has a dog that she saw that's outside and cold, and boom, like, he didn't have to do that. So you raised a son who is intentional on listening to people and getting things done.
Well, thank you.
The second thing that I think is extraordinary that I want everybody to hear is he shared a story about something that's posted on your refrigerator.
Oh, yeah, this is true.
What is on your refrigerator?
Can I say it?
What is on your
Is it-
refrigerator?
Okay. So we're Catholic, and I went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
My husband did in 5th grade because his mom bought him some Air Jordans back in the day. So that was his deal. So 1 year. But our boys both went all the way through Catholic school. And so different times they send things home. And they sent something home that had the Beatitudes and the 10 Commandments. And we put it on the refrigerator because, that's
Yeah.
what you're doing, right? And then my husband said, he was just looking at it, not like we don't know it for our whole life.
Right.
He's like, you know what? All of this could have just been summed up in just one. Just don't be a dick. Like, just don't. So I was like, that's true. So he printed it out in, like, I don't know how old. Jasper must have been 8 or 9. Printed it out, and it's about a half sheet of paper, and it says, don't be a dick, and it's on our refrigerator. And whenever somebody comes over, they're like, what's that? And we're like, well, we just summed it all up.
Yeah, right.
But it's true. I mean, it's just true.
And I'm telling you, that mantra, obviously, with the 10 Commandments and that how it started, it really is. The Bible says to love the Lord your God with heart, soul, mind, and spirit, and love your neighbor as yourself.
Right.
Like,
Just don't be a dick.
Right. Take care of people. I got to ask you as we close out, just one little final thing on leadership. And then I'm gonna do some quick bullet questions. But you mentioned about teaching young people in high school back with you and your husband before the farmers market, and then I want you to transition into: is it difficult being a female leader in this world? So tell us about leadership.
Sure. So I had the opportunity many years ago, 25 years ago now, to lead something through the GISD that was called Greater Flint Youth Leadership. And there was 1 or 2 kids from every high school in Genesee County. We met once a month, and we did kind of sort of exposure things about Flint and Genesee County in leadership. And, a lot of different topics go into that. And then we were asked to write a program for inner city at-risk youth, which was something different that I had never done. And we did, and probably besides my children, probably the biggest blessing in my life. to have that opportunity and walk in on the first day and have about 20 kids from Beecher High School.
Beecher Bucks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Bucks fan forever now. Bucktown all the way. Probably the closest.
Listen, I know you're from Beecher. If you just said Bucktown.
Closest relationships that we have had have come, a lot of those from Beecher, and just melted my heart on day one. And I absolutely just love. I'm not a huge fan of social media because of the negativity, but the thing that's great is I can keep track of all of my kids. I call them all my kids, and now they're in their early 40s, which is crazy, and I love to see everything that they're doing, which is so amazing. And to stay, oh my gosh, to stay in contact with them and to be a part of their lives and to attend their weddings and their children and their baby showers and their bridal showers and their, now their kids are growing to almost graduation, like our oldest ones, and to see all of those things happening has just been like probably, again, besides our children, the greatest gift of my life.
Okay, I just want people to check on what you just said. Is this has been something that you did 30 years ago?
Yes.
That it is now generational. They're coming back to you
Yes.
saying, because of what you did for me.
Yes.
And I think for the people that are out there, Bucktown folks don't look like you.
No, they don't.
They don't come from where
No, they don't. And it was interesting because it was funded through the Mott Foundation.
Right.
It was called the Mott Foundation Leadership Academy. And
Shout out to Ridgeway.
Yes. Ridgeway, was my program officer way back then.
Right.
And it was very interesting to them that the kids responded to me the way that they did, because it didn't make any sense at all. But I think here's one thing that I learned about kids that have come from a difficult background, and I think you've probably learned this in law enforcement. People that have had a hard life can read you like this. They know right now why you're here and if you're here for them, and it shines through. And if you're being genuine and you're true, they're going to get it right away. And so they got it right away. And I mean, again, just like it's an amazing thing.
Good for you. That is, and you have to be intentional doing that. I'd encourage everybody out there, invest in somebody who doesn't look like you, live like you, love like you, work like you, come from where you're. That's what breaks barriers.
Yep,
if you just stick with your own, country club folks, and everybody, there's no diversity, there's no perspective.
Right.
Then you're going to have such a limited idea of the kind of people that are out there.
And that's what's the deal. People, they don't take the time to experience other people that are not like them. And if you do, I mean, you're just blown away.
Look at the dividends that are paying off to you emotionally when you get updates and they're so proud of where they've come from.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it just,
I
it
love
feeds
it.
the soul.
I love it. And being at the farmer's market, I'm really lucky because they know that I'm there.
Yeah.
And so if people are home for Christmas
Yeah.
or summertime or whatever, they're here, or a lot of the kids that are still here, they'll just be like, Miss Karianne, where are you? I'm downstairs. Come see me. Or they'll pop in.
Oh my gosh.
And it's
You've created your
the
own
best
culture
day.
at home.
I love it so much. It
Is
makes
it hard
me so
being
happy.
a female leader? You're in business. And,
I think it's gotten easier. I mean, I definitely feel like in that women, it's still a man's world. It just is. It still is, but it's getting better. And so I think that
what do we need to do better?
Gosh, I don't know. More of us. No, I think I don't know. I think everybody's just sometimes you don't. How does this without being confusing? You don't know what you know until you know it. Like, I think it's just experiential. I think giving people, giving women opportunities to lead and then them being able to lead. I mean, that's opening a lot of doors. And I think that's happening more often than not. But it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's gotten easier. It's getting better.
Got it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the young lady, the single mom that's out there who does not have the skill set or a setback came into their life, what advice do you give that person who's listening right now when it comes to that opportunity and changing their life?
Well, I think don't give up. I mean, you especially if you mentioned mom, like your kids are the most important thing. So you've got to keep going for them. And I think don't be afraid to ask for help. I think sometimes people feel nervous, embarrassed, whatever it is. But like I always tell my kids this, if you don't ask, you don't get. Like don't be afraid to reach out. And you kind of have to sort of pad it with, like my dad always says, expect nothing and then you won't be disappointed, which is true. So it's a bit of a measured, kind of thing, but don't stop asking and don't stop seeking and, don't give up. So just like there's someone out there that's going to help you. You just got to keep trying to open the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely earned it. That's why I love you.
Well, thank you. I love you too.
See? And I hope everybody else feels the same way. Couple quick questions.
Sure.
Got, 0.4 seconds to answer. All right?
Gosh. Okay.
If you could go to any concert, to any group or any artist, alive or dead, what concert would it be?
Okay. I'm going to embarrass my entire family, but I'm going to say Britney Spears.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah. My niece and I, we love Britney Spears. So whenever there's live music, we always try, no matter how like acoustic the person is that's probably playing Crosby, Stills and Nash, we're like, can you throw down some Britney? And they're like, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Only because we haven't seen it, but yes.
Poor thing. She's gone through a lot herself.
Yeah, right. I know. And we didn't make it to the Vegas bit. So, but I think it would be cool. I would like to see that. And then also Janet Jackson would be
Yes.
Yeah, I saw her once before and I really
bet that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite movie of all time that when you just need to disconnect from society, you're like, I'm watching this?
Oh my gosh. Well, a couple different ones. Probably one, I have no idea why, but Knight's Tale.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm a bit of a historical fiction buff. Like, I like all the kings and queens and stuff from England a long time ago. So that one's kind of fun, and it's got
Do you
cool
like
music.
Downton Abbey?
I
Like that
haven't
stuff, or
watched
The Crown?
that. I didn't watch any of that.
Oh, wow, okay.
No.
All right.
I know. I read more of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. What's your favorite food of all time?
Favorite food of all time? Oh, my gosh. At the farmer's market, that's hard to pick, too.
I know.
Oh, gosh. I've timed out on my 4 seconds. Coca-Cola.
What?
Yeah.
You love Coke?
I do. My husband says every time I crack open a can when I get from work, it's like the first time I've ever had it every day.
It's
true.
experience.
I like every day.
Regular
I like
or Diet
it.
Coke?
Just regular.
All right, because David, our producer, and my wife have a Diet Coke union.
Oh,
and
okay.
they share pictures back and
Oh
forth.
my
They are
gosh.
obsessed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, Coca-Cola. I love it so much. I'm not opposed to other drinks,
Right.
but every
I
single
got
day,
it.
like I do come home and
That's
I have
brand loyalty right there.
I have one a day, and there it is.
What part of the day do you have it?
When I get home from work.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
So,
beautiful.
like,
So you haven't had one yet today?
I have not had one yet.
But
today.
you can hear the tsh.
I can hear it, and then, like I said, my husband laughs. He's like, "It's like you just got here."
I
It's
love
the first
it.
one.
I love it. The simple
Yeah.
things in life.
Yes, I like it every day.
So, Karianne, you are standing in front of a stage, and the entire country is locked in on you. And you have 30 seconds to give a message to the country. And there's no distractions, and they're allowing you to speak into their life. What message would you give those people that are watching you?
Well, I think it would be similar to some of the things that we have already talked about, which is I think, treat everybody with respect and don't be afraid to reach out and help people. And don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, it's about bridging gaps that people have and trying to figure out a way to get along and work together and make things better for all of us. And I think the more that you can see your neighbor as your friend and see the things you have in common rather than the differences, the easier those kinds of things, will be able to make happen.
I also know to help organizations and companies and small businesses to succeed, it takes everybody to chip in. And I just want you to know that whenever you need anything, not only have I, but I will continue to be there for you.
Yes. Well, thank you. And I want to just say, honestly, on behalf of the farmers market, thank you for what you've done, because there have been numerous times where I have called you on a variety of issues and you've picked up the phone and help has arrived. And, we are so lucky in Flint at the farmers market to have such an amazing group of law enforcement all across the county. And we appreciate all of our officers that come in and help. But since I'm right here, I really just want to say thank you so much. Like, honestly, it means so much to know that if we call, you will come.
100%.
Thank you.
That's been my mantra. If you need something, call Chris.
Yep. Well,
Continue to do it.
And thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. My guest, Karianne Martus, go see her at the Flint Farmers Market, and certainly go visit the Martus Luna Food Pantry and go see what they do. Go online, help support. And ultimately, this country will continue to push forward because of the working class. And that is the Working Class Podcast.